All right, guys, thank you for joining me once again. Appreciate it as always. Hopefully, this thing must be 30 seconds behind. I gotta lower the latency on this. Four stars, please. Receipts. Thank you, Dan Phillips, for the 5x5. Patrice, thank you for the 55x55. Um, Joe FW, thank you for the 5x5. WTC, thank you for the 5x5. Sarita, Flowgrown, Oxford, Scrapper, Mr. Landfill, Kathleen, Bush Pig, Jeep Girl, thank you for the 5x5. Manuel, thank you for the 5x5. Cali Prepper, Jason, PNW, Mira, what's going on? Karen, Spotted Fawn, Amanda, thank you for the 5x5. Old Joe, thank you for the ping. Aaron, Debs, thank you for the 2x4. Adriana, Descendant Liar, thank you for that. CH, thank you for the 100 by 2500. Smalls, thank you for the 5x5. L, thank you for the 5x5. Shiz the Fan, South Florida CDL, thank you for the 5x5. Dobie, thank you for the 5x5. Scorpio, thank you for the 8x8. Tom, thank you for the 25. Warden, thank you for the 5x5. Bubba 1, thank you for the 5x cannabis. I guess. I don't smoke that shit. Chancellor Crappy. Thank you for the .0015 by .200. I don't even know what that is. Common Moon, thank you for the spam by bacon. City Prepper, thank you for the 4 by 20. Yeah, right, 420. Q. Shadow Prepper. Jules, thank you for the 5x5. JOC, thank you for the 5x5s. L, thank you for the 5 by spam. Terry, thank you for the 5x5. Bat and Poppy, thank you for the 5x5. Enough already, thank you for the 5x5. Henry, thank you for the 6x9. Jane, thank you for the 10x10. Mid GA, thank you for the 5 by Skinnier. Thank you for that. Manuel, thank you for the donation. Appreciate it, man. So, 1,000. Wait, is that what? Sam King. That's not. Is that 1 million? It's supposed to be a million? Thank you. 1 million by 1 million. William, thank you for the 5x5. Simpler, thank you for the 5x5. Everybody else, thank you for the loud and clear. Okay, all right. So let's jump into it, man. Bonnie, thank you for the 5x5. And Duckman, thank you for the 5 by square. So, guys, let's jump right into it. Also, guys, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. It doesn't matter to me. North by Northwest. Thank you, Happy Mac. It's all the fucking same. Just hit something. Don't care. So, guys, today's episode, we're going to talk about dropping like flies. Or they are dropping like flies. Now, what am I referring to? We all know what the fuck I'm referring to. I don't need to say it because we are going to speak in code. Anyway, the one thing I want to point out was an article I read earlier today. Cancer cases are rising amongst younger Americans at an alarming trend. Cancer experts have discovered a grim new trend. Rates of cancer rate among young people have risen sharply in recent years, even as the rate dropped among older people than 50. So the rate amongst young folks are going up, the rate amongst older folks are going down. Now, the biggest increase occurred among people aged 30 to 39. Those rates of cancer jumped 20% between 2010 and 2019. I'm going to call bullshit on that because we've all seen the cancer increase within the last 3 years. But they had the cutoff of 2019 conveniently before something was handed out. Anyway, and this was a new study published in JMA Network Open. And most of the increase occurred among young women. Onset cancers in women increased by 4.4%, while among men the number has dropped almost 5%. So we used to say 40s was extremely abnormal, but we're definitely seeing more cases in the 30s than we've had before. The study author found that specific cancers accounted for most of the rise in cases among younger people. Breast cancer cases, for example, increased by 8% over the study period, which again, I find bullshit, and they backdated a lot of this shit. So while they're trying to bring attention to the raise or the rise in cancer cases, or C cases, if you will, they're stating that they dated it up to 2019. Why didn't they go to 2020, 2021, 2022? They stopped at 2019, trying to do a 9-year study instead of a 10-year study. Or is that a 10-year study? It is a 10-year study. Thinking about all of 2010 to 2009 is a 10-year study. But anyway, I call bullshit on it, but I'm still reading it and trying to be responsible, I guess. I don't know. Gastrointestinal cancers, including colon, appendix, bile duct, and pancreatic cancer, increased at an alarming rate of 15% in the last 10 years, making them the fastest rising type of cancer. Now, that's cancer rates that have gone up. And though, who was it? The cancer research people here in Sloan Kettering talked about it raising 300% in the last 3 years, or 2 years rather, sorry. And that was Sloan Kettering, and I forgot the other people that did the study, or recognized that it went up 300%. Now, guys, let's get into the meat of it. Caleb White, 17-year-old basketball player in Alabama, ranked number 3. I said number 1. He was ranked number 3, collapsed out of nowhere on the court during a basketball game. So social media erupted, grieving the passing of a 17-year-old Caleb White out of Pinson Valley High School in Alabama. He collapsed suddenly during a basketball game. Of course, people that know him or the family states that this is not normal, because we are seeing more and more of this. Now, more and more people are starting to get their attention or focusing their attention on this happening, and more people are starting to raise the question, being that this kid was the number 3 pick. Pilot collapses suddenly and dies while in transit on flight, while in transit to, I think he was going to Chile. So anyway, he fell ill, the pilot fell ill, and suffered a medical emergency while in flight. So at the start of the week, a tragedy occurred aboard a flight from Miami to Santiago in Chile, where a pilot who had been flying for 25 years suddenly fell ill and died. The Chile-based LATAM Airlines confirmed to multiple outlets that the pilot was on a Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner, suffered a medical emergency that forced 2 other co-pilots to take control of the plane and divert to Panama Tocum International Airport. While the flight was being diverted and landed successfully, pilot Ivan Yandur was confirmed dead upon arrival. What does that mean? That means that he fucking died. He didn't make it. But again, guys, we're seeing more and more pilots suffer medical emergencies. You can type in pilot a medical emergency this year, and I think this year alone, 7 or 8 articles will pop up. But I think they're more like 20 this year alone, not including last year, where there was probably, that I saw, at least 7 or 8. Anyway, so Dillon County Sheriff collapsed and died unexpectedly in his home. Dillon County Sheriff Douglas Humbunny Parnell passed away suddenly at his home Monday. I forgot how old this article was. He was 61 years old. This is where it gets a little iffy. Once you're over the age 60, 65, it gets iffy whether or not it was that thing that caused them to pass away. But Parnell, deputies, and other law enforcement officers escorted the sheriff's body to the Myrtle Beach for an autopsy, and then back to Dillon County, where he is in a funeral home, I guess, being, processed. Grimsley will review the autopsy, that's the autopsy guy in their neighborhood, before releasing the cause of death. Probably a heart attack. also, oh, I was about to say, where the fuck did that study go? I completely missed it. Olympic swimmer Helen Smart also collapsed suddenly at the age of 43. Manuel, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Former Olympic swimmer Helen Smart, who represented Great Britain at the 2000 Sydney Games, passed away at 43 years old. A professional swimmer who won bronze at the Kuala Lumpur Commonwealth Games in 1998 and worked as a school principal at her time of death. No shit, she became a school principal. No shit. The cause of death is unknown. Of course it is. Anyway, at 19 years old, she competed in the women's 50-meter backstroke and 200-meter backstroke at the Summer Games of 2000. All right, man. So all I can say is, okay. Here's another one, a good one. This one happened yesterday. And I remember yesterday, early today, my mother was excited about Bruce Springsteen and his concert. I don't know why. She wasn't going. But she was super excited about it for the other people going. But Bruce Springsteen posted 2 Philadelphia concerts over an undisclosed illness. Now, obviously, when it becomes disclosed, I will mention it in my next live stream. Bruce Springsteen has postponed 2 of his Philadelphia concerts this week with the E Street Band because of an unspecified illness. Now, Bruce Springsteen's pretty old. Bruce Springsteen's like 70-something years old. So, again, that's, slippery slope when you talk about older people that get sick or died suddenly. Again, guys, I find it interesting that we're going, like I said before, we're going to see more of this start to ramp up. If you take note and pay close attention over the next couple of years, over the next couple of months, we're going to start seeing way more people have medical emergencies and not be with us suddenly. Jamie Foxx, right? He had that medical outbreak that he probably still doesn't know what went on. I think he knows what happened, but he's not going to say it. You had LeBron James' son, who was, by the way, transferred from the school he was in to a school, I think, closer to his father. And he seems to be doing okay. But we shall see whether or not he's going to be able to play ball again. There is that to contend with right now. And of course, guys, all of these people took the arm ticket. And we're definitely going to see more of this. And I hope people wake up. I hope enough people wake up and they're like, oh shit, There was a rapper that passed away suddenly, but I don't know if it was due to drugs or suicide. I think it was Young Capone. I think that's the kid's name. I saw that earlier, but I couldn't. It said he passed away unexpectedly, but I don't know. When it comes to musicians, there's another one. When it comes to music people or musicians, they're another group of people that you got to take with a grain of salt until you find out what happened, because them and their fucking cocaine and lithium and fentanyl and fucking banging hooker whores with AIDS. You never know what they died of. Wanda says some are waking up. Yes, some people are waking up. I'm going to tell you right now. My mother was one of them. At first, when I talked about this shit, my mother was like, and of course, when my mother had her medical emergency, when she took the arm ticket, she had a bad reaction to it. And just the other day, I was breaking her balls. I'm like, I said, what's funny about that whole thing? I said, what's glorious about it? I said, the fact that she survived was great. I said, that's cool. We'll put that on the shelf for now. I said, but what's glorious about that whole situation is that I was right. And of course, I'm going to, rub salt in the wound with her. And I said, because this is the one time that you should have listened to your kids. Or your son, rather. And she goes, she starts laughing about it. I said, because all those years you told us certain things not to do and things we shouldn't have done, and you wagged your finger at us to don't do this or else. And I said, and of course some things we did anyway and we learned the hard way, and other things we listened to you guys on. I said, this is one of those teachable moments that parents should start listening to their kids. And then she started laughing. But of course she had her medical emergency with it, and then and she didn't take the second one, she didn't take the second round, and she was done. Donezo. Actually, who the fuck was I talking to? I had a friend. Oh, my A guy I used to work with, his girlfriend, she took the shot. She took the arm ticket, and she had a medical emergency with the first one. She had an allergic reaction actually, and she did not take the second one. Now, when she took the first one, her boyfriend, the guy I worked with, told her not to take it. Told her don't take it. Don't. It's not worth it. It's this, that, and the third. She went and took it anyway. She had an allergic reaction. Never again. She couldn't take it. Right. So obviously, guys, they're going to tinker with this, and I guarantee you, in the next year, they're going to come out with a new batch. They're going to tell people, those who had an allergic reaction to it the first time, you could take this batch because we fixed the problem. I'm telling you right now, that's some shit we're going to start hearing. We're going to start hearing they fixed the problem. So, of course, my son's mother, she took the shot. She took the arm ticket. And she takes the arm ticket, and she has a bad, not that she didn't have an allergic reaction, she had a bad reaction over the course of months. Her her blood pressure started skyrocketing and stayed steady for months. I started to tell her to take certain things to bring her blood pressure down because at this point we are attacking the problem or the symptoms and not the cause. You can't attack the cause with herbal remedies and things like that. You have to attack the symptoms, right? You have to attack the actual the illness itself. So she had high blood pressure. I told her to start taking this, start taking that. Her blood pressure came down. So she's doing better. But she is nervous now because she's looking at all of these people not making it, and she's like, shit. And and again, breaking her balls. I looked at her one day and like, you could be next. And she's like, you fucking asshole. I was like, I was just fucking with her. But I tell people, I'm like, yo, it wasn't worth taking it. Again, my other son's mother, she works for the city. She took the arm ticket. Her ailments came back. Ailments that disappeared for years came back like that. So she said she's not taking any more of the other arm tickets that come her way. Nonetheless, it's amazing how people just don't fucking listen. They just don't fucking listen. Everybody. You know why they didn't listen to us? Because they were scared. Because they listened to the higher authorities, or seemingly higher authority. But the higher authority guys are trying to kill us. Simple as that. It's as simple as that, man. They are trying to fucking off us, right? And people are starting to recognize that now. And then some people are just saying, well, maybe they overshot. They overplayed their hand. I'm like, maybe they did. Maybe they did. But I mean, not maybe they did. They didn't. But if I was naive, I would have been like, all right, they overplayed their hand. They were scared. They rushed it out, and that's why so many people didn't make it. Right. But there are people now that are like, fuck this, man. This was intentional. Debs, yes. Everybody, the two mothers that took the arm ticket took it for their jobs. They had no choice. So and again, I mean, I preached it till I was blue in the face. Matter of fact, a buddy of mine, I just found out, a buddy of mine is sick because he took it. So, and I mean, listen, it's not going to fare well for him, but hopefully they can solve the problem before it gets out of hand or gets away from him. But he took the arm ticket, and now he's not doing good. So, again, guys, and matter of fact, in fact, the doctor told him, Wanda, yes, and the doctor told him that it was the arm ticket. The doctor was like, listen, man, I'm seeing more and more of this shit. It was the arm ticket. Even the doctor was fucking, bothered by it, And they're doctors that are waking up. They're doctors, man. They're like, yo, this isn't right, man. Something is off, Hell, we even had a body positive TikToker. Listen, guys, ladies, there's no such thing as body positivity. You're fat. I have to state that. I like big girls. Always have, always will. But we're not going to change the fucking terminology to call it body positivity. So a body positivity TikToker, Megan Tucker, also passed away and suddenly and unexpectedly. Now, I was looking for a picture for her to see how big this bitch was, but I couldn't find it. So, matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up now while I have you guys on the line, if you will. Um, but that's the other thing too. Like overweight people, even young. She was 25, if I'm not mistaken. She wasn't even that big, and she was 21, not 25. She was 21 years old. She passed away December 22nd, or at least the story was reported December 20. She was 21. She wasn't a big girl. Sorry, but body positivity, I usually coincide that with fucking fat. You know, but no, she wasn't. And she passed away suddenly and unexpectedly, they said. But she also left a cryptic message before she passed away. So there is that. So she died not December 8th. I'm sorry. Let me find out when. Because the story was first reported November 24th. She died November 24th of last year. But nothing, no updates on it. No, no suicide, no drinking, no drugs, no prescription medication. But yeah, she died back in November. And then we had another one, an influencer, 21-year-old daughter of beloved Mexican singer. Oh, she drowned in an after party. All right, well, of course. I told my mother, man, I blame everything on the shot now. I'm like, yo, so Biden trips and fall. I'm like, it was the arm ticket, right? Fucking there's a sinkhole in Florida. Fucking arm ticket. They put it in the ground. Fucking, why did that guy say that? The arm ticket. What else was it? Like I blame the arm ticket for everything now. Jokingly, I blame the arm ticket. It says it's BBWs, not BWW. It's BBWs. They need love too. But yes, it was a cryptic message. I don't know what it was. I see if I can find the article. But they said she left the cryptic message and then she wasn't here suddenly. She was is Mega or Megan Mega Takur. And she's 21 years old. But yeah, guys, again, all of these people are not making it. Now, the other one thing I wanted to touch on before I go off, psychosis. There is a psychosis breakdown I'm starting to notice in more people. Suicide is up dramatically, and it was up dramatically last year according to the CDC. Now, obviously, we knew it was up. We all noticed the rate of suicide going up. We all noticed it. We all saw it. We all watched it. We're like, what the fuck is this going on? Why are so many people just, offing themselves and their families? And with some women, they're blaming what is that called? Not post-traumatic stress. Postpartum. Right? They're blaming postpartum. Now, with women, that's very well the possibility. But that cancer doctor in New York City that shot her 4-month-old baby and then herself. Postpartum, I'm no longer going to fucking blame. I'm blaming, you guessed it, the arm ticket. Has to be, guys. The psychological breakdown and psychiatric problems that have gone up in the last 2 years skyrocket. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. You see more crazy people. You see more people making not even incoherent. You see more crazy people making like outrageous requests to shit. Matter of fact, like the kid that almost got hit by the car the other day, he blows the red light, almost get hit by the car who's going through the green light, and he turns around and starts motherfuckering the car that almost hit him because he blew through the red light. That's a psychosis problem. And of course, I'm yelling at him now. I'm like, you fucking asshole, you piece of shit. I'm like, what the fuck you trying to pick a fight for? You fucked. I'm like, and I'm ready to get out of my car. And the wife's like, don't do that. And I'm like, fuck this dude. And then I realized this kid was a skinny, 100 pounds, nothing. Soaking wet, arguing with 2 car drivers. He started getting off his scooter. And I told him, you get off that scooter, I'm going to fucking hit you with my car. Then it dawned on me, he might have something on him. So when that dawned on me, I'm like, fuck, I'm not strapped. I don't have fucking anything. I'm like, all right. So I let it go and then drove off, dropped the kids off, got back in the car, went after him. Didn't find him, but went after him anyway. He didn't find it. But what's the point? The psychosis cases we're seeing, guys, are fucking dramatically high. And there are articles, if you dive deep enough, you can find articles on how psychological issues have skyrocketed here in the United States and in other countries that were pushing it big time. UK, China, Japan, and China, Japan. That they've always had that problem of suicide and shit, but it skyrocketed even more. But the UK saw a higher rate of suicide in their country as well. Guess what they were pushing there? New Zealand, Australia, they have a higher case of suicides as well, and higher than the previous years. Why is that? The arm ticket. Right? So again, guys, Scorpio, thank you for joining us. We're going to go off the air here as well. We're going to go off the air in a couple minutes. But yeah, I'm blaming, and you know the crazy shit is, guys, when you start blaming the arm ticket, sometimes I feel like a psych patient when I hear it leaving my mouth. I'm like, man, too much. Sounds crazy. But then when you start doing the math, it's the only logical answer. It really is. Joe said 43% more likely to develop some form of brain disorder if they got the arm ticket. And drugs are the other thing. I mean, there was, and that was the other thing too, that I have to be fair with talking about. Drug use also increased as well, right? Recreational drug use, they call them. That also increased as well. So we do have to account for that as well, and the accounting of that being high because a lot of people took or started using mushrooms, for example, and things like that. And mushrooms, guys, don't vote well for a lot of people. It really doesn't. And so you have to put that in the back of your head, or I have to put that in the back of my head and think about that at some point. Like, maybe it was maybe it was just recreational drugs for some people, not everyone, but for some people, maybe recreational drugs did do it, right? So it's always that. Not vaping. Arm ticket, 5Gs. Arm ticket and 5Gs dudes equals melted chrome wheels. Yeah, the 5G thing and the what is it? The graphene oxide or the graphene oxide? Yes, I'm starting to look at that a little more, man, and being like, yo, is that really causing a lot of the problems we're seeing, especially the psychological issues? We're seeing a lot of psychological issues, man, a lot. So, being that we're seeing a lot, being that something was introduced just a couple of years ago, and we're seeing an increase in suicides, we're seeing an increase in psychological breakdowns, we're seeing an increase in medical emergencies all across the board. We're seeing people pass out behind the wheel of their car and crash it into fucking businesses. We have pilots passing out while they're flying a plane. Now keep in mind, guys, keep this in mind. Pilots are not flying the plane. They land it and they take off. The plane pretty much flies itself. And the plane could even land itself if it absolutely has to. Right? If it absolutely has to, it can land itself. They rather it not, but if both co-pilot and pilot are passed out, it can land itself. So you keep that in the back of your head when thinking about it. But yeah, guys, we're going to see a lot more of this shit. And I'm going to tell you something right now. It's a prediction. We're going to see so many of these. It's going to be borderline scary, especially if you know somebody or have a loved one that took it. You're going to be looking at them every day like, your next fucko, you know? You're going to be laying on the fucking ground. I'm going to come in and you're going to be fucking just bleeding out of your mouth or some shit. I think it's going to get scary. No, I did, Teddy Roosevelt, I did hear about the shooting in Fargo, North Dakota. I didn't know it was an ambush. I thought it was just a shootout. But I did hear about it, yeah. But anyway, guys, with that being said, we're going to go off the air now. Yeah. Can you try detox on? There is NAC, N-A-C. I've been hearing a lot of studies on NAC, and they said that neutralizes the spike protein. NAC, N-A-C. They said it neutralizes that. So if you know anybody that's looking to survive, tell them to take that. And I heard the cilantro thing is not really good. But the NAC thing, they've done studies on NAC, N-A-C. It neutralizes it. So just pass that on if you can. Someone, I am not on Telegram anymore. I'm on Discord. I don't do Telegram much. I am still on Telegram, but I don't use Telegram much. All right, guys. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going off the air. See you guys next week. Thank you, guys.